Right, bit of an impromptu video today. Hope you're all doing all right. Everyone's well. Yeah, I thought I'd make a video because I've actually been out picking hops. So yeah, where I live in North Kent, there's a little patch of hops that grows every year, and sometimes there's a good yield, sometimes there's not. It's on a route where I cycle quite often. I've noticed that the vines, plants, whatever you call them, were pretty heavily laden this year, and been keeping my eye on them. And I noticed that this week it started to go slightly brown and a bit papery. So, from what I understand, that is the time to pick them. So yeah, I took a bag out with me and I picked this much, which is 330 grams of wild hops. I say wild, they're growing wild. I don't know whether they have seeded from somewhere or how they got to where they are, but there's probably about 10 plants in a row. The cones are quite large. That's what they look like. I don't know if you can see that. So yeah, obviously I have no idea what the variety they are. I live in northwest Kent, so obviously Kent is quite a well-known area for growing hops, and quite a few sort of old oast houses that are now converted into posh houses, but there are oast houses dotted around the countryside, so you know there's evidence that hops are grown all around this area. So I'm assuming that they're probably some kind of Golding hop. Yeah, not East Kent because I live in northwest Kent, but they are most likely a Golding hop that's gone wild, I'm assuming. So yeah, that's the best guess I've got on what they are. They do smell quite nice. They've got like that sort of almost like kind of spicy floral type smell to them. So yeah, I'm hoping that they're going to turn out all right. Obviously, it's a bit of a gamble because you never know what type of hops they are, but they do look like nice aroma hops. Some of the smaller ones you see in the hedgerow, they've got sort of a bit of an oniony smell to them sometimes, but these haven't. They smell really good. Yeah, so I'm going to put them into a best bitter. I thought that would be kind of the best way to maybe showcase them. So yeah, a wet hop, green hop, best bitter. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to do a 23 litre batch because I'm expecting, this to kind of absorb quite a lot of liquid. So we'll see how much I get into the fermenter, but I'm aiming to get, a Corny keg's worth of beer. Maybe there's enough to put a couple of bottles aside as well. So yeah, very basic sort of best bitter recipe. It's Maris Otter, bit of medium crystal malt, and a little bit of wheat and a handful of oats as well because I've run out of wheat, and a little bit of black malt just for sort of colour correction. So I'm going to put that in just before the sparge at the end of the mash. So I'm really just getting the colour out of it rather than any kind of roasty notes that you get from the black malt. So I guess that's pretty much it. I'm going to be fermenting it with SO4. I've literally just kegged another beer today, which was a dark mild, which I'd fermented with SO4. So it kind of didn't really make sense to wash out the fermenter and then pitch another SO4 into this beer. So it was closed transfer from the Firmzilla into a keg. So it hasn't been opened. So I'm assuming that's going to be fine. I'm going to drop my wort straight onto the top of it, and hopefully it's going to get off to a great start, racing start. Expect it probably finish in about a week or so, and I'll keg it and drink it hopefully when it's quite young. So from what I understand, these wet hop beers are best drunk young. They're not kind of for keeping. So I should be drinking it within a couple of weeks, hopefully. All right, well, I'll see you at the end for the tasting, And yeah, I'll see, maybe I'll get some footage on the way and the steeping process, probably for, I don't know if I mentioned, so what I'm planning on doing with these is I'm going to bitter this with one charge. I've got some minstrel hops left over, about 30 grams, so I'm going to use those as first wort hops. That's the only other hops that are going into this beer. So they're going in right at the start. It should give me about 30 odd IPUs. And so what I'm going to do with these is I'm going to put these in at flame out. So when the wort is just off boiling point, and I'm going to leave these to steep for about 30 minutes. So probably as the wort cools a little bit, these will steep for about 30 minutes, probably not giving me much bitterness, hopefully, but English hops generally don't have a very high bitterness anyway, so I wouldn't imagine these, you know, are going to impart much bitterness after flame out. But that's the idea. So I wanted to kind of sterilise them in the hot wort because there were a few sort of caterpillars and spiders crawling out of this bag when I brought it back. So yeah, not a beer for the vegetarians or vegans, but hey ho. So yeah, so I'm gonna steep that big bag in the end for about 20-30 minutes, and then transfer it into my skanky keg, and hopefully all is well. So that's it. I'll get some footage on the way, and I'll see you at the end for the tasting. Cheers. Alright, well here it is. So this has only been in the keg now for about 10 days. And I have been sampling it for the last couple of days, and actually I'm really impressed. I think it'll probably get better as it conditions, but it's actually tasting really good at the moment. So yeah, it's cleared beautifully, and I really hope you can see this on the camera, but what a cracking looking pint. I mean, that is an absolute work of art. So yeah, I used SO4. In fact, I actually pitched this on top of like a yeast cake, the trub basically in the bottom of the fermenter, as I just brewed like a dark mild. So yeah, it was SO4. Got off to an absolute rocket start, and was done kind of in about 4 days. But yeah, I haven't used SO4 for ages. I don't know, I can't remember the last time I used it before this. And yeah, I'm really impressed with just how clear it's dropped. So I've added no findings to this at all, apart from the protoflock in the kettle. So other than that, I've had no findings in this at all. I am using, I bought one of those new Oxybar kegs, 20 litre Oxybar kegs, which has a floating dip tube. So yeah, so it's pulling it from the top of the keg rather than the bottom, but it is absolutely crystal clear and it's an absolutely beautiful colour. So as I said at the start, there was some crystal, not much, I think it was a couple of 100 grams, and I added a small amount of black malt just at the end. So just at the end of the mash, sort of just before I started, I think it was just as the, was it just before the sparge? Yeah, I think it was just before the sparge. And really got some nice colour out of that. Yeah, so 330 grams of those wet hops went in, so I cooled it down to about 80 degrees. Apologies, forgot to get much footage. I think I've got a little bit of that. So you've probably seen that by the time you get to this bit. But as I hadn't recorded any videos for ages, kind of a bit out of practice, and I just completely forgot. I got into my brew day and I forgot to actually video any of it. So, but there wasn't really much to show you. I mashed I had single hop edition at the start with some Magnum, like first work. Can't remember how much, but it was just a little bit, really just to set that bitterness, because I didn't want it to, anything to really overpower those hops. I wanted this to be all about those hops. And the malt bill's a pretty basic best bitter recipe, just to really kind of complement it rather than, you know, take it one way or the other. So, yeah, lovely looking pint. Of course, served into from a dimple pint glass. The only way to serve best bitter, in my opinion. So, in terms of aroma, it's definitely hoppy. It's definitely got that sort of earthy hedgerow type aroma that you would find with British hops in general. And there's a nice sort of like malty background to it. So yeah, in a way that best bitters are kind of a nice homogenised sort of balance of malt and hops, I think. It's the best way to describe it. But it's a nice bit of hop character coming through. Yeah, I'm going to dive in. Yeah, blooming lovely, I would say. Classic sort of best bitter type taste, nice bit of hoppy aroma, and a very delicious beer. I'm pretty glad I went to the effort of scrumping or foraging those hops. I took this along to Homebrew Club this week, and yeah, got some favourable feedback from it. So yeah, pretty pleased with it really. I've got another, I don't know, 20 odd litres I guess in the keg, and it will go down quite nicely, and hopefully it'll condition nicely over the next couple of weeks as well. But it's drinking really nicely already, as I say, only after not even 2 weeks, 10 days I think. Yeah, cracking pint, nice session beer. I think it finished at about 4.5%. It's lightly carbonated, so yeah, going to enjoy this and the rest of the keg, and I'll definitely be doing it again next year. So I don't know whether I'll try the Hedgerow hops. I might even try and get some of the green hops. I think Hookins hop farm, which is not too far away from me. They were selling them this year. I think Bullion and maybe Ernest and East Kent Golding. So yeah, I might try one of those next year. But yeah, if you haven't already tried a green hop ale, then give it a go. It's definitely something a little bit different, and one of those kind of special little things that you get to do once a year. So yeah, it's good brew. Cheers everyone.